I think you should like the Houston Cougars, unless Parker Ainsworth of Locked On Cougs says otherwise. He's here to discuss Houston's upcoming 2025 season. We take his word as gospel here on the show. So if he says no, then we change our minds and say no. I landed 7-5 with what I might consider the most favorable schedule in the Big 12, Parker, because I don't know if Conner Weigman's a long-term solution to get you to be a Big 12 contender. I see him as what NFL teams might dub a bridge quarterback. You've got Keyshawn Henderson coming in. I think he's perfectly serviceable, build up the culture a little bit, establish a winning identity, use that to get some high-end transfer portal recruits. I think that Houston has got a lot going for it right now. Am I wrong to be confident in your Cougs to go over their win total of 5.5 and finish 7-5?
I think it's the best over in the Big 12. I think it's the easiest over in the Big 12. And I say that to say, like, there are skeptical people out there like, Parker, it's year 2 of the rebuild and all that, and I get that. But as you mentioned, this schedule is very favorable. Kind of what you mentioned, the bridge quarterback. He actually went to Bridgeland High School in Houston. That's a fun double there. But,
that's perfect. I didn't even remember that. That's perfect.
But Conner Weigman has. I mean, say what you want to say about I think it's Notre Dame, and there's one other game in his career that I can't remember off the top of my head right now that I should. But he also went 9-4. Like, he can beat the bad teams, and they've got a lot of those on their schedule. They play a FCS school for the first time since 2019. I think they got better at probably 17 or 18 out of 22 spots from last year, and they have an easier schedule than they did last year. I think this is a really, really good year to build on for Houston.
When the Cougars beat TCU last year, that was when I turned my head. Utah was one of those moments as well. But TCU was, because Utah was beat up. But when they beat TCU, I went, I thought this was TCU by 30. I liked the Horned Frogs last year. I liked them again this year. But you mentioned the schedule, Parker. It goes like this for those who don't have it memorized, non-diehards we'll call them. Stephen F. Austin, at Rice, Colorado, at Oregon State. By the way, I just have to say, you better not sleep on going to Corvallis. I've got that as a win. That is very much a toss-up game to me. Oregon State will be much improved. Malik Murphy is solid. Second year for Trent Bray. That crowd shows up to Reser Stadium with its hair on fire every chance they get, especially for a Power 4 opponent with the weird schedule they've had the last couple of years, so don't overlook that. Texas Tech, at Oklahoma State, Arizona, at Arizona State, West Virginia, at UCF, TCU, and at Baylor. Now, I'm not going gangbusters here and saying Houston's making a run to the Big 12 championship game. Nothing would shock me. ASU won the league last year, for goodness sake.
But why not, Spencer? ASU won the league last year.
So that's why I'm saying it wouldn't shock me. I'm not picking it. I'm not saying going out on that limb and saying it would happen. But last year I would have been dubbed pretty crazy to say ASU to the Big 12, ASU to the college football playoff last year would have been crazy talk. And look what happened. But for those on YouTube watching this particular segment, I'm going to throw up a graphic here, and this is my Big 12 preseason power rankings. Now, you may notice that on the right of your screen are the bottom 4 teams in a 16-team Big 12 conference. Gross, whatever. I'm not over it. Oklahoma State, Arizona, West Virginia, UCF. Oh, look, they're all on Houston's schedule. Yeah, they've got Texas Tech. They've got Arizona State, my top 2 teams in the Big 12 going into this year. But there is no Kansas State. There is no Iowa State. There is no Utah. There is a TCU. But, I mean, man, this schedule, Parker, works out so well. And the home road splits are interesting because the tougher games are on the road, but that, I think, kind of works in Houston's favor because, I don't know if they're ready to beat those teams anyway, and I want to give you the best chance possible to go and beat the bottom feeders, and they're going to have the opportunity to do that.
Well, and you mentioned the bottom 4, and then you had Colorado at 11th, and they host Colorado to open their Big 12 slate on a Friday night in September. There's a real chance Houston goes into the Texas Tech game on October 4th undefeated. And I don't mean that to say, like, hoorah, send ESPN game day, although that'd be pretty cool. It was pretty cool the last time that went many years ago. at this point. But they opened Stephen F. Austin, Rice, Colorado, at Oregon State. And I'm not saying that you mentioned Oregon State's going to have a sold out crowd or whatever. And I think it's actually the road game to go to for Houston because it's such a cool atmosphere. And it's like you don't get to do that every year kind of atmosphere. But they can win all 4 of those games. Like there's no reason they can't win all 4 of those games. And they play Tech at home on the 4th. That'll be a raucous game, especially if Houston's 4-0 and Tech with their offseason they've had and all that kind of stuff. That'll be raucous. But then Oklahoma State, Arizona, they're right back. like it really does swing in Houston's favor in a lot of these kind of ways. Look, I think really highly of Sawyer Robertson. I actually don't know what you think of Sawyer Robertson to end the season with Baylor, and that worries me because I think Houston's going to feel pretty good about themselves going into mid-November, and they have TCU at home, and then at Baylor and Waco, and Sawyer Robertson scares me a little bit, and I don't want to tell Cam that too loudly. I just
clipped. You have been officially clipped, and I will send to one Cameron Stewart, host of Locked On Baylor.
I think Sawyer Robinson's really good and kind of underrated, but I say all to say that like this is a schedule set up to be successful, and then on the roster you mentioned Weigman, but I think they brought in 5 guys with starting experience on the offensive line. 4 of them were at Power 4 institutions. The defense they bring in, they lost a couple DBs. I don't mean to say they didn't, but they bring in some linebacker help and stuff like that. I think this team is improved in the roster as well. And listen, Oklahoma was not the team we thought they were going to be last year. And Houston ended up beating Kansas State, but BYU was better than everyone thought they were going to be. But last year, Houston played a team with it was top 10 hardest schedule based on previous season win percentage. So go back to 2023 and did it, right? This season, the statistics aren't right in front of me. It feels like the exact opposite. It feels like all these teams were not very good last year, which probably means I don't know, Colorado will be 12 and everything. I don't know, but it feels like a schedule set up for success for Fritz in year 2, and then you've got that 5-star quarterback coming in the next year, so that helps.
Buy stock in the Cougars is what you're saying. In real time, Parker, I did not prepare for this. I'm going to put my my college football sicko knowledge to the test and see if I can list from memory every team's record from the prior year. Stephen F. Austin has not been the same program in the last few years. I think they were under 500. They're an FCS team. At Rice, that's not going to be a very long road trip for the Cougars. I think Rice was in a bowl game last year. I think they were 6-6 in the regular season. Colorado ended the year 9-4. Oregon State was 5-7. Texas Tech was 8-5. Oklahoma State was 3-9. Arizona was either 3-9 or 4-8. I think it was 4-8. Arizona State, of course, 11-3. West Virginia was under 500. UCF, I think, was also under 500. TCU ended the year 9-4. Baylor ended the year 8-4 in the regular season. I think they lost their bowl game. So the number of double-digit win teams from last season on the schedule, 1. There's 1.
I'm sure someone will tell you in the comments below exactly how wrong you are. I'd point out with Colorado, with the roster that they had, they also had the Heisman Trophy winner with that on. He's not back.
No. Colorado is an obvious regression candidate. I have them going 5-7.
Yeah,
this year. They're a clear. I don't think that Deion's incapable of coaching without them. I just think that in a 1-year snapshot, they were so reliant on those 2 guys last year. The defense was improved, but not lighting the world on fire. The offensive line still stunk, should be better. I think Caden Salter's fine. But on 3rd and 8, you don't have Travis to Shedeur anymore. That was a huge part of what Colorado did
Shedeur
last
quite
year.
The play. No, I do think, though, it's worth mentioning.
I said Travis to Shedeur, not Travis Shedeur.
But it wouldn't be Travis to... Anyway.
Shedeur to Travis. Oh, I see.
But I would also point out with Colorado and Tech and Colorado, maybe Salter's a Heisman Trophy, and I don't know. They played Colorado in the 3rd game of the season and Tech in the 5th game of the season. And Tech has an easy schedule too. If I were going to play Texas Tech with all the crazy reconstruction of the roster they've had, Salter as well, I'd want to do it early because they haven't played together a whole lot. Even that works in their benefit in a weird way in this as well. Arizona State could be tough. I don't mean to say they're not. They're defending conference champs. You got to give them credit, but I feel pretty good about what Houston's doing right now.